What does it mean to create the classic sketch? Is it the nostalgic aroma of fresh pencil shavings late at night and your hand gliding with the friction of vellum, fingers covered in lead? Those were the days of no other choice, and the extra labor was all a part of the journey in creating a potential world icon. Today, in my career, in the digital design studio, the classic is still essential, and the new flatters in its imitation. I will battle and combine both these mediums and speak on technical aspects that, if executed flawlessly, a portfolio full of them could get you a job anywhere. Anywhere? This is a sketch demo, buddy. Still got to know how to design. Anyway, pencil versus pencil, let's go. All right, so round one, we're going to take it to the original sketch.
Round one,
The Vellum PrismaColor sketch. And you need the supplies before you sketch. Of course, you need black PrismaColor erasers, rulers, air dusters, pencil sharpeners. Get an electric one. I didn't have one, but I had my daughter's one, and it was effective. Anyway, so we go to 2-point perspective. This is an easy perspective to learn. If you look up at the top, in the top window, you'll see tips, and I'll lay down things for you to go back and you can understand that later. But I want to talk about line weight and just drawing from the shoulder, and also, like, when you start off, being able to save how much paper you use by lightly drawing first, and then going back in, flipping the vellum. You see there, I just flipped the vellum, so I use my first initial sketch as an underlay. Now I'm overlaying that and I'm refining as I go. I use rulers sometimes where I can. You can use a French curve as well. That will give you a more effective sketch, a more refined sketch. But this one, I'm really freestyling this whole thing. I'm freehanding it all. Also, a most important point is to keep your focal point the darkest of the sketch. So your line variation should, as you move away from the viewer, should get lighter. Your pencil stroke should get lighter. So don't be so heavy-handed. I'm a little bit heavy-handed, honestly, in the back wheel there, but the front wheel should be darker. I'm going to show you later how you can take this and fix it. But I'm also using an eraser. You got to have the correct eraser. You got to have, I'll show you I'll give you the correct materials. But yeah, so you want to go in and start to put in your values now. Now that you got your line work down, you can go ahead and start shading. So there you have it. So let's get to round two.
Ready.
Here's your materials. Pretty simple. I'm going to start off throwing in a side view. Now the side view is an effective view. It's like the best view to draw your design at because it describes the car the most in a real world situation. That is the view that we use when we blow it up and we do line drawings, tape drawings, or back in the day we used to do tape drawings. Today not so much, but you still need to understand your side profile because it communicates a lot about the car. It communicates, number one, the attitude, your axle to dash, your doors. That is a very important thing in my career, to show the door cuts. That's something that's going to be there all the way to the end. So now I've completed the top sketch to a point to where I feel like I can use it as a guide to drawing the rest of the car. So side view first, really, in the design world, side views is what's going to help you as a designer figure out what the rest of the car is going to look like in different views. Typically there's 5 views, sometimes only 3, but you can see them laid out there. Now I'm taking my thumbnail, I'm blowing it up, I'm going to go in and start to refine it. I'm looking up at my top. I might change a few things here and there because they might not work in 3D. But I still got my sections in there, which is very important. Center line, body side line, show the viewer what the surface is doing. The pencil is very effective in this because you can use the pencil tip in different angles to give you a different line weight, line thicknesses. You can use it to describe intersections, and you can use it to describe the sections. Once you got your line work down, then you start to put in your values. Again, just like I did in the Vellum sketch, I'm doing it here. But the difference here is now I have layers, I have undo. You know, I miss that nostalgia, but I really like being able to undo. You know, I really like being able to erase and completely erase and not smudge. So using your layers effectively, you know, you don't want to have too many layers. You should always be working to simplify the amount of layers you have. So we're working to this, we're about to complete this. Going back in on the front, throwing some airbrush in, which is another option that you have.
Round 3.
We're gonna move to round 3. Round 3, we're gonna put both of these techniques together. So I started off by taking a picture of the original sketch, threw some airbrush over it, threw some shading over it. Now I can go in and I have layers now. I can play with my opacity of my layer. That's still 100% brush, but the opacity is like 50%. That way I can see where my lines are. And later, if I want to just turn it up to 100%, I could, or I could just duplicate it and do whatever I want. But here we have the complete sketch coming up on us. I'm going back in and some of the details, but this is it. This is what you can do with both mediums, and I think it's the most effective. And if you learn how to do it flawlessly, you can have beautiful pieces in your portfolio. I'm Bias Design. Please come back and subscribe. I hope you liked this video. If you didn't, come back for the next one. Maybe you'll like that one. Peace.